Most men want to change. They talk about it. They plan it. They think about it every single day. And then nothing happens. Not because they are lazy, not because they lack information, not because the world is against them, because of something much simpler and much harder to admit. Stay with me. There is a psychological phenomenon called identity foreclosure, studied extensively by developmental psychologist James Marcia at Simon Fraser University. It describes a man who has accepted an identity without ever questioning it. He was told who he was at some point in his life, and he believed it. You're not athletic. You're not disciplined. You're not that kind of person. And so he stopped trying to be. The 99% live inside this identity. They do not change because they do not believe they are the kind of man who changes. That single belief is the root of everything. Here is what the science shows. In 2010, researchers at the University of Scranton tracked people who set goals. 92% failed. Not because the goals were wrong, because the people who set them still saw themselves as the person who had the problem, not the person who had solved it. You cannot act permanently outside your identity. You can force yourself for a week, maybe two, but eventually you return to who you believe you are. So the question is not how to change your habits. The question is how to change who you are. The 99% approach this backwards. They start with outcomes. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to make more money. I want to be more disciplined. They focus on the result and hope the identity follows. It never does. The 1% man starts with identity. Not, I want to be fit. I am the kind of man who trains. Not, I want to eat better. I am the kind of man who fuels his body with intention. Not, I want to be successful. I am the kind of man who does what he said he would do. Every action then becomes a vote for that identity. You train once. That is one vote. You train again. 2 votes. Over time, the evidence accumulates, and the identity becomes undeniable. This is what behavioral scientist B.J. Fogg at Stanford calls identity-based behavior change. The action is not the goal. The action is the proof. Now, here is where most men fail, even when they understand this. They try to change everything at once. New diet, new training program, new sleep schedule, new morning routine, all in 1 week. By day 10, they are exhausted. By day 14, they have quit. And they tell themselves the story they have always told themselves. I knew I couldn't do it. That story is the real enemy. The 1% man does not try to change everything. He changes one thing. Completely, permanently, until it requires no willpower at all. Then he changes the next thing. This is the compound effect of identity-based change. Slow at first, invisible to everyone around him, and then undeniable. There is one more reason most men stay weak that nobody talks about. Their environment is designed for weakness. The phone beside the bed, the junk food in the kitchen, the friends who quit when things get hard, the content that rewards passivity and comfort. Your environment is constantly voting against your identity. The 1% man redesigns his environment before he needs willpower. Phone out of the bedroom, healthy food at eye level, training gear visible the night before. He makes the right choice, the easy choice, and the wrong choice requires effort. Weakness is not a character flaw. It is a design flaw. Fix the design, and the character follows. Here is your challenge. 7 days. One thing. Every morning for the next 7 days, before you do anything else, write down one sentence. I am the kind of man who blank. Fill in the blank with the one thing you want to become. Then do one action that day that proves it. Not because one action changes your life, because the man who writes that sentence and then acts on it is casting a vote for a different version of himself, and votes accumulate. Most men stay weak because they keep waiting to feel ready. The 1% man knows that readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. One habit, one decision, 1% better every day.